Hi, my name is Jeremy Olagus, and I run track and cross country. I've always really enjoyed running these things, specifically shorter distances though. I have always really enjoyed school, not really the homework aspect of it, but I really enjoy getting the aspect to learn with the freedom kind of in high school with what to learn, not really on the regards of the main courses like English and math, but I've always really enjoyed math specifically, especially since middle school. I really started to pick up on it and found I always would try to find little shortcuts that I could use while doing it, and that has kind of developed more to my high school math classes. I've found myself actually going on YouTube and maybe looking up how to do something before we learn it in class, just to try to further my learning more. And I'm hoping this is something that I could go into later in my life through mathematics. I've really been looking at a lot of smaller private colleges or universities like Earlham, Transylvania, Center, Bellarmine, and only really one public, University of Kentucky. So I think I'm going to like a little more smaller college as a best fit for me, and so that I can get this more personal feel, kind of like with a smaller high school class size would be. And so as I've been in high school specifically, I've noticed there's been an up of homework, but not really. And one of my main problems coming into high school and still kind of now is procrastination. But being at Atherton has really helped me with doing that. I've become more balanced in my emotional and physical dealing with the workload. So this past Christmas, the 2019 end of the year, was a big workload for me. So I was finishing my driving restricted. I was trying to get my restricted license. I was finishing my college essays, like through the Common App, and my college applications. And I was also dealing with end of the year little papers for my IB classes, specifically IB US history. And I found myself in a bind because I hadn't realized that they were all going to come to this sort of, like at this time, they were all going to be due me at the same time. So I was worried that I wasn't going to quite be able to finish them to the best of my ability. So I was able to make a plan and figure out when I would be able to practice with my driving, specifically with the little more tedious things like parallel parking, which was probably one of the harder things for me, and as well as fitting in time to do my writing my paper for IBS history, and then the college essays I ended up leaving for last because I had a little longer for those. But this, going through high school here at Atherton, because of the little extra bit of homework from middle school, I have really learned how to pace myself and kind of create a mental schedule for when I should do things and when I shouldn't. And it's really helped me, especially in that experience. And then, so with my senior year here at Atherton, in my English class, we've started doing these Latin and Greek roots, and I've really found an interest in these. I've enjoyed doing them. I've done a little extra work by putting them all in a Google document, all in alphabetical order, having a little fun with them. And then I would kind of like go over them and quiz myself. But these kind of fall into my liking of math because a lot of math terms actually come from these Greek and Latin roots, more from Greek roots, like matrices and derivatives, and these words or these roots rather, kind of help me out with knowing exactly what the math terms mean, and could maybe help me further my math classes in college, maybe with a more difficult class, and I might actually find a different study that I might want to go into, such as biology that could come from math, or chemistry. But I still think it would be a branch from math because I've always really enjoyed this. And here's some of the little roots we've been doing with words in them. They're being put together with the words, and we have to try to figure out like what they mean and develop how the roots are put into the words, and show that we know what the roots are actually trying to mean and symbolize in a sense, because they have a lot of different descriptions. But these roots have really pushed the learning that I can do in math, because this year specifically I first learned a lot of newer math terms and things that were not familiar to me, so this was probably one of my hardest years in math, so I had to really push myself to try to stay on top of the game and not fall behind, because falling behind in math is probably one of the worst things you can do. So this knowledgeability that I had through getting to do these roots, these Greek roots mainly, we haven't really finished the Latin roots, but I feel Latin will help me even more, maybe through medical terminology if I want to go into a medical field. But they really helped me know my, these roots have really helped push my knowledge through math and maybe something else that I might want to do in my future. Math is it.
Yeah, again, I refer to the IB learner profile. Can you talk about how you developed some of those characteristics during your time here?
I think I've developed my balanced characteristics specifically through learning how to cope with massive workloads, because high school is definitely a step up in homework compared to my middle school that I went to, Highland. It has helped me, especially with when I get multiple projects at the same time. I've lessened my procrastination to almost, I try not to procrastinate anymore, but sometimes it slips out. But so it's definitely helped me in that aspect. And then with these roots that I've been learning, because I take Spanish, I don't really have, in the case of my brother, he took Latin, so he was able to learn these roots through his language that he took in high school. But because I get to learn these Greek and Latin roots, they're both dead languages, and I think they're both very interesting, and they're going to help me a lot, I feel, in my later life.